Guess who's back? Back again. Yes, it's Virginia, and I'm here to talk about another thing about Star Wars. Now, I deleted my review video because, frankly, I don't think I expressed myself in the best manner. So I'm, at some point, possibly, going to do a Last Jedi review, but today is not that day. I'm just gonna talk about one little thing. Everyone knows how pro-Rey Skywalker I was, and I am. Because frankly, I don't think The Last Jedi gave us any definitive answers on anything. To assume that The Last Jedi is unquestioned canon, that's a mistake, just saying. But, even if it is, what I'm going to say right now is completely 100% accurate. And this is only the kicker. This is the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to link my blog in the description because I think you need to go to my blog and do /tagged /Rey-Skywalker so you can see all the evidence of Rey Skywalker. And because, there's no other explanation for who she is. She cannot be a random. And it's because she was sold by her junk trader parents to Unkar Plutt for drinking money. But in the novelization of The Force Awakens, she said explicitly she was not a slave, which is what is implied from being sold to somebody in exchange for money. Don't know about that one. Don't know about that one. Also, why did the parents need to sell their daughter for drinking money when, let me think, they had a spaceship that they, just flew off of Jakku, and they apparently died in the sands of Jakku, but had a spaceship. I don't know. There's a lot of plot holes in The Last Jedi about her parentage, because it was set up in The Force Awakens for her to be Luke's daughter. Just saying. Now, the tip of the iceberg is something I actually just realized 2 or 3 days ago, and it's insane. This movie gets worse and worse every single day. If you think about it, if you just ignore The Last Jedi for a couple of days, you're gonna just be sitting there one day, early in the morning, getting ready for work, or getting ready to go somewhere, and you're just gonna be like, holy shit, there's another thing that's wrong. And that's what happened with this. My parents were driving, and I was sitting in the back seat, and I was going down, and I was going somewhere, and I was just typing on my phone. I was just, typing on my phone, and then all of a sudden, I was just like, how did she even know? Okay, so now that you have some idea of what I might be talking about, in The Last Jedi, Rey went to the Supremacy to turn Kylo Ren, like Luke had turned Vader. And yeah, Rey said she heard stories of Luke Skywalker, but from what I understand about Disney canon, there is no way she would have known what happened on that faithful day in Return of the Jedi when Vader finally turned on the Emperor and saved his son. There is no way in hell she should know, logically, based on Disney text canon. Now, in the EU, which I know is no longer canon, most people don't even know Vader saved his son and was redeemed. The whole plot of the extended universe, is that people are coming to know that Luke and Leia are the son and daughter of Darth Vader, and they learn that, Vader turned to save his son. But, in Disney text canon, however, there's only 3 people in the universe that know what happened that one day. The only 3 people that know what happened are Han, Leia, and Luke. Leia allegedly didn't even get the chance to sit down and talk to her own son, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, and tell him what happened. Tell him that his grandfather is Darth Vader. He somehow managed to find out, which is a little bit but I mean, he's being manipulated by Snoke. He was probably told by Snoke what his lineage was, and that's okay. That's something that can be explained away easily. Now, I don't agree with it. I don't think that's something Leia would have done. I don't think that's something Luke would have done, but whatever. But there are only 3 people, well, now 4, and Snoke, I guess you could say 5, that know what happened on the bridge of... No, actually, there's only 3 people that actually know what happened on the bridge in Return of the Jedi. There's only 3 people who know what happened, that Vader was redeemed. So Kylo Ren doesn't know this information. Snoke probably does, but is withholding the information from Kylo for some reason, but we're never gonna find that out because Snoke is dead. Bye bitch. Like, why? I don't know. He was killed off unceremoniously pretty much, and it's just like, you know what, you're not sad to see him go, but I have no answers about who he is or anything about him, but whatever, it doesn't matter. He's dead. It's dead. Who gives a shit? But here's my main point. There are only 3 people in the universe that know what happened on the bridge in Return of the Jedi. There are only 3 people that know Vader was redeemed. There are only 3 people that know Vader was Anakin Skywalker. And it's just like, how the hell does Rey know that, out of nowhere? Okay, so this is actually the thing that goes on in The Last Jedi. They're in that cave thing on Ahch-To, and Luke didn't offer the information first, by the way. Luke said something that along the lines of, a Jedi Master was responsible for the training and creation of Darth Vader, and then Rey said, and a Jedi who saved him. And I'm just like, at first you're kind of just like, whatever. You know what? We know that, and that's fine. It's fine that we know that, but she shouldn't. And then people will say, well, maybe she talked to Leia. Yeah, she talked to Leia, and Leia told this girl she knew for 20 minutes what happened. Really? She talked to Leia, and Leia told this girl she knew for like 20 minutes what happened, but wouldn't tell her son before he turned when he was 23 years old. But you know what? Whatever. No, she didn't talk to Leia. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going crazy here. So there is no logical reason that she should know that Vader turned to save his son. And there is no logical reason that she would have had any kind of precedent. Here you go. Here's another thought that's actually popping in my head right now. Okay, so knowing that Vader turned to save his son, and that he turned in general to basically, survive, help his son survive, and, to bring down the Empire, she had to have known that Luke was his kid, right? Because it's just like, she knows everything else, apparently. So she knows that Luke's his kid. So, what would make her think? just a thought. What in the world would make her think that she, a nobody, could go ahead and try to turn Ben Solo, the last living Skywalker? And I'm just like, she's no one, but she thinks she can go ahead and turn Ben Solo. And it's just like, now, I'm not going to talk about how poorly written Rey was in this movie. I'm not, in this book. I'm not going to talk about how poorly written Rey was, because that's a whole nother animal to deal with. But this is just basic world inconsistency, cinematic inconsistency, text canon versus movie canon inconsistency. It's like, I'm left to assume that it's like, there is no way that this is common knowledge in this universe. And with the EU no longer being canon, it actually further casts doubt on the fact she could have possibly known from some outside source on Jakku, because the EU is no longer like canon, and there's only 3 people who know what happened, that Vader was redeemed. She had to have learned this information from somewhere that makes some semblance of sense. But since the only 3 people who know what happened to Vader at the very end of his life were Leia Skywalker Organa Solo, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker, there is literally only one person there's only 3 people who could her parents possibly be, because she couldn't have learned it on Jakku, because it's inconsistent with their own canon. It doesn't make any sense. So she had to have learned this from somewhere in her youth. It doesn't make any sense. Every single day, Rey Random seems more and more unrealistic And it's just like, there is no way she could have possibly known. None. If she wasn't told this in her youth by Luke Skywalker. And here's the thing. I'm saying Luke Skywalker because if Leia, by their own canon, wouldn't even tell her son that, you know what, your granddaddy, Darth Vader, but he was redeemed at the end of his life by turning against the Empire. See, if Leia and Han didn't even have the time or, the decency to tell their own son that, what would make you think that they would tell their alleged other child, Rey? Because there's no way she would have. So really, knowing who Luke really is in general, not how The Last Jedi portrayed him as, there's only one person who could be her father, and that is Luke Skywalker, because he wouldn't have kept that from his child. He would not have done that. And she couldn't have learned it from her parents, because if there were only 3 people in their own canon who know what happened to Vader, her parents couldn't have possibly known either. No one on Jakku knew. Her alleged junk trader parents couldn't possibly know. Kylo Ren doesn't know. I don't know. Every single day, there are more holes poked in Rey random, and I can't even anymore with this. No. She has to be Rey Skywalker. There is no other explanation for everything she knows and everything she does and how she carries herself and everything else I've talked about. She has to be Rey Skywalker. Nothing makes any sense. Oh God, Rian Johnson, why? Why did you do this to us? I'm going crazy.